Entrepreneurs, I hope everyone is doing amazing and their business and ideas are thriving. I hope today's episode adds immense value and some new tools to your tool chest because we have someone who can help you, especially if you want to build something from the ground up or build something online. Cody is a passionate e-commerce expert who has built a supplement company from the ground up. He will discuss techniques for new e-com businesses, how he figured out a simple 4-step blueprint that anyone can copy and paste to build widely profitable supplement offers in record time, and much more. We're going to learn his journey as he now owns multiple supplement companies that have grossed over 60 million in the past few years. I can't wait to learn about how he did it, all the things involved, the lessons learned, everything. Now he's teaching the system. We're about to learn all about you, hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you who want to build their own supplement empire to 8 figures in record time. As I said, you can use this blueprint right away to reduce the amount of time figuring things out and instead scale to 8 figures at the speed of light. And as we have a rock star e-commerce entrepreneur on the show today, when we dive into the spotlight story, we're going to look at an article, the top e-commerce entrepreneurs, and then get Cody's take on it. But Cody, did you always want to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did because I remember in fourth grade winning the magazine competition, selling magazines in school, and then the chocolate competition in Little League, and I've always been a sales guy at heart, so it's in my DNA to want to get products in people's hands and make a profit while doing it.
I love that. Me as well, starting young from shoveling snow, you name it, all the things I used to do for money on my own, trying to build a little business. Now here we are all those years later doing the same exact thing. But you just heard Cody. Everyone listening on, welcome back to That Entrepreneur Show. I am Vincent A. Lancy, and thank you for tuning in. Each week, I sit down with founders of companies or brands from all around the world to help you along your journey.
This segment is sponsored by Bedrock Business Builders, a small business startup specialist. Start, build, manage.
As I learned from this show, you never know which journey is going to resonate with you most, and maybe from where he lives, where he went to school, what he did first, but now he's helping entrepreneurs thrive in the e-commerce space. But I want to start off by helping our audience here, Cody. What are two of the more challenging parts of entrepreneurship for you?
Yeah, definitely. So the biggest, most challenging part is going to be that motivation and getting rid of that voice in your head that says it's not going to work, it's a failure, quit it, go away. It's the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
That I think is probably the number one problem. I think for anybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or just trying to be successful at your life, it's trying to learn what that voice is, why it's there, and how to actually use it for motivation versus letting it take you down a notch
Okay.
and knock the motivation out of your sales, making you not want to follow through. So like that right there for me is huge. I like to take the idea of it and go, oh, what am I having this anxiety and fear about? And how do I create a system around that? How do I build a team around that? How do I develop something in my business that makes that fear and anxiety go away because I've solved the problem? So I almost look at it as a way to how do I as an indicator of how to improve my business.
I love that. And that's really what your business is doing now, helping people get afloat. Let's dive right into that. Talk to us all about your business, maybe how it started.
Yeah, definitely. So I had started out with this company called Science Natural Supplements. In 2015, I owned a gym in San Diego. I was teaching people how to use kettlebells. I had a thriving business with 200 members. It was a lot of fun,
Cool.
but at the
Yeah.
same time, I was giving such a great deal to people and having working so many hours that I was basically making like 20 grand a year, 30 grand a year, working like 80 hours a week, and having people tell me that, oh, $100 a month for membership's not it's too expensive. I lost only 30 pounds in a month. Oh, it's just not enough, and it was just driving me insane.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to my brother on vacation, and he's like, "You should sell supplements online." And I was like, "That's a cool idea." So just dove in and started trying to figure it out. I've been a fan of Bill Glazer, Dan Kennedy, and the direct marketing world, the affiliate marketing world for a long time. So I started looking at industries and people in that side of the industry because it seemed a lot easier than trying to build something without an audience. They teach you how to find audiences fast and how to connect with them, how to get people to know, like, and trust you almost instantly, which is some tactics that I use in my gym. So I started the supplement brand, and I think a second or third sales page variation. The sales page is that story that tells who the company is and where it came from and why it's so important. It worked. And I think the first week I did $25,000 in sales, and I crapped myself pretty much and said, "Oh my God, this gym is done. I need to move on. I need to focus all my energy on this." By the end of the first year, we did 2.5 million, and then I did some changes and tweaks to the business. The next year, I did like 4.5, 5 million. And then it just kept growing and growing from there. And that was basically with one product, one offer, and just using the affiliate marketing world and the tactics of direct marketing to be able to get people uh, to promote my product, to make a lot of money. And then in turn, I take the customers and I remarket to them my products and other people's products, and I've done well. In that whole journey, I've made mistakes. I've probably lost about $1 million of profit. And in 2020, when my business was at its peak, when everybody got their,
Mhm.
checks from the government and we're just buying everything online, we were having a killer year. I was like, I need to help people not make the same mistakes I had. And so I started putting together a course and a concept, and the four step blueprint you talked about earlier.
Mhm.
And the whole thing is just now helps probably at least 50 clients I've been taking care of over the last year and a half to be able to help them build their businesses quick and not make those same mistakes I made, because knowing that you lost $1 million is painful.
I love it. Well, we're going to get into that 4-step blueprint after we go through the spotlight story. But as he's talking, I'm typing up these notes because this may be how I title the episode. I definitely want to include some of this in the description as motivation for everyone listening on today. 25K in sales first week after he finally let go of his corporate operative responsibilities, 80 hours a week for no pay. Better be on your own business in the first few years when you're putting in those hours. Then 25K that first week, 2.5 million a year, 4.5 million. We're going to learn all about scaling. But before the spotlight story, you mentioned a lot of lessons learned, a lot of mistakes. Can you share one of those lessons learned with everybody listening on?
So the first thing is I, as an entrepreneur, was trying to think like an entrepreneur, which is almost cheap, almost the idea of not spending money to make money,
Mhm.
right? So I didn't hire people. I would go, how do I get a part-time agency to do something for me? How do I get just someone to do a little bit here and spend as little money as possible? Because it's all my money, my money. I kind of forgot at the beginning that it's the business's money, and I was merely filling the roles that need to be filled.
Right.
So one of the things I teach now is the idea of an org chart, right? At the beginning, you literally are doing 6 people's jobs, maybe 8 people's jobs. And you really need to consider yourself as an employee of the business, pay yourself as an employee of the business. And if at the end of the year you have tons of money left over, payday, right? That's when you win. But it's not your money. So that's the first most important thing I messed up on, is I took money out too soon, or I didn't hire the right people because I was like, oh, 80,000 a year to hire someone. I can't do that right now. I easily could have, but I just was too cheap to do it. And I just dragged my feet for another year and a half until I realized I desperately needed that person, and I wasted a year and a half of time. So not building a team, trying to do it all yourself, being cheap, not paying yourself like an employee and treating yourself like an employee was the mistake I made, because that idea of entrepreneur is like this hustle idea, right? And that's great to get it going, but you have to migrate that mindset into a CEO's mindset, which is crucial for a business to succeed on any kind of length.
Thank you so much for those golden nuggets, everyone listening on. I've been guilty of it in the beginning. There wasn't much finances coming in because I directed it all to full-time entrepreneurship, but then eventually you had coaches. You had people in your corner to bounce ideas off of, and that helped me a great deal. Now, we were talking about it before. I've got some help on social media. I've had multiple interns in the past, but unfortunately, I learned college credits aren't enough anymore. When it comes to accountability over more than a few weeks, in every scenario, it ended up poorly for me. I invested a lot of time thinking that I put in the time on the back end, it will open up more time in the future, but I'm still pretty much playing catch up. But that's a whole nother discussion. Cody, we're diving into the spotlight story. You've done so much in the e-commerce world. You have so much to offer. So now we're going to go over this article from Yahoo and then get your take on it on some others who are making big noise in the e-commerce world. We briefly touched on this 2020. Since the launch of Amazon and other technological and internet giants, e-commerce grew stronger than ever. Most retail commerce is starting to be made online rather than in person. And now we're going to look at some of these other entrepreneurs out there doing crazy, crazy things, impressive things online. Travis Lubinsky is the founder of Flex Watches. Each color of watch they sell represents a different charity that they partner with to give back 10%. He was also on a TV show, MTV's Real World, and CNBC's The Profit with Marcus Lemonis. He is considered an e-commerce expert with over 10 years of experience and has generated over $1 million within a year of launching his first website and has sold 8 figures directly to consumers. He is also a licensing expert and has created products for some big brands like Star Wars, Minions, and WWE. Another one we'll talk about is Richard Jordan. He got his start in e-commerce in 2016 and also made 6 figures by 2017, 1 million by 2018. He runs stores that equal up to 380,000 per month, and his e-commerce businesses are all private label brands, and the goal of them is to exit with a healthy profit. His first exit was in 2019 for a $580,000 buyout. In addition to the e-commerce businesses and SMMA fuel as a cash flow for his real estate investments, which average a 67 annual return percentage per year. We'll look at one more and then get Cody's take on these entrepreneurs. Laz Chavez is a Cuban-born immigrant living in Miami who's been involved with e-commerce for over 5 years. From studying at Cornell to becoming a mechanical engineer, he was looking for ways to make extra money. One day, him and his business partner got involved in drop shipping. I've been hearing a lot about this personally. Check out Tommy Shields, who will be on the show soon. That's one of his entrepreneurial endeavors. It took 7 months of testing and failing until they saw their first profitable day. Those first 7 months were the hardest because they weren't sure if they were doing something wrong or was the system. Those 7 months really helped them to discern which of the variables were in their control and let them focus on their efforts into those variables. Once they figured that out, they started making regular sales, and scaling from there. At one point, they were making so many sales, the article puts, that it was impossible for them to handle everything. So then they started outsourcing various tasks and automating their business. There we are talking about, again, delegating parts of your business. Cody, what's your take on these entrepreneurs?
Love it, Travis. I've seen that show. I've seen his episode in The Profit. I think they have a second episode too. By the way, guys, I loved The Profit when I first got started because hearing from a billionaire speak to local small businesses and help them kind of understand treating their business like a business is key, right? It's not you. The revenue is not your money. The profit at the end of the year is not your money. What you pay yourself, your salary is your money. That's why I said earlier. So Travis, great company, great concept. I love the product that he had. I know they had a lot of trouble, and the show showed him kind of getting through that and kind of making those next steps. He's a unique case of some, not a unique case, but what I do is take white label products, put a label on them, and sell them. You know, turmeric, you can buy that anywhere. Omega-3, you can buy it anywhere. But I find customers who want to buy it from me, and I create a tribe around that. Travis made a very unique product. He invented a kind of space, a niche for himself, which is a very complicated task because you then have to kind of create the marketing behind that and create the world behind that. At the beginning, especially if you're starting out, I would not recommend someone do that because you have to learn how to be a CEO, run a business. So he had to go through that entire struggle and learning experience while inventing a new product and inventing a new niche and taking care of this whole a segment that didn't exist before. Whereas a lot of things I teach is basically copy what works, learn how to do it right, tweak it for you, and then create your amazing custom unique product that's going to change the world in whatever way you can. Because I know that he had to have investors, he had to have a profit come in, he had all these different kinds of things because they needed more capital to grow because it was very expensive, I think, to manufacture and to market. But when done right, that's the ultimate goal, of course, is having those types of businesses because you are unique, you are special, and you own the niche, and that's the cool part. So props to him for holding on that long and making it grow and being able to get all the big brands on board with him.
A lot more great advice. Thank you for that analysis on our break here. And it's interesting. I always try to find articles that will resonate somehow with my guest. In the beginning of the show, if anybody, the loyal listeners from day one, I was really just picking entrepreneurs, famous entrepreneurs, and sometimes the guest would say, "Oh, I'm not really sure about that entrepreneur or whatever," and I feel I let the listeners down. So now I'm glad that you've even seen this episode. There's a lot to learn. Podcasts, the correct TV shows. There's a lot of resources out there that can help us grow. We've talked about a lot today. Cody, we spoke about your business, how you started your business, even your greatest lessons learned, some challenging parts of an entrepreneur. What's next for you? Are we still working on this company? Are we going to launch something new soon? Let our audience know.
So I don't know where I heard this. I heard it about 3 weeks ago. In a gold rush, you don't dig for gold to make money. You sell shovels. And that set with me really heavy. The idea is that you're not doing what everyone else is doing, but you're creating the services that allows those people to succeed. I've already had the coaching business, which kind of is that, right? It's a shovel. It's a tool that gives people access to be able to, know who to work with and how to build their business quicker and not have to be like, well, what do I do? I'm going to spend 3 weeks researching. No, I have an answer for you, right? Um, but it's, in my opinion, building more of those. So like we took our entire dev and design company and I just spun them off their own. I put the best people in charge and said, it's a business, run it. I'm your first client. So now my team, now anybody can use my old team, it's called Yo-Yo Funnels, for designing their entire web page and their funnel and building it all out in HTML. And they do a simple, straightforward job to do that. And so my job now is to start determining what are the next shovels I want to do so that I can help entrepreneurs start their business, move faster and move easier, and not have to build things from the ground up as I did and suffer through the mud like I have.
I love that. Giving back to your experiences and stories. That's one of the many goals of this show, helping everyone out. You're not alone on this journey. It is going to get challenging, but a lot of what Cody mentioned today can help you greatly. Before we sign off, and I love this question, which entrepreneur would you choose to sit down with throughout history to pick their brain?
Walt Disney.
Love it. Let's talk about why.
So he created an entire world. I mean, think about it, there's a berm around each park. You can't see outside the park really, right? The whole idea is you are enveloped in something completely different, completely unique. When cell phones first came out, they actually had blockers in the park to try and kill signals before they realized that everyone in the planet needed to have cell phones. It was trying to shut down the business data originally. Now it doesn't make a difference, but they're all about trying to make you feel, think, and be a part of something different. So number one, you come out with a very positive experience, but number two, you spend as much money as possible because you're not thinking about the normal world. And so I think that getting in the mind of someone like him or people on his team would be incredibly powerful and unique because they invented something that didn't exist and did it in a way that was all about helping the customer achieve something, but also make really good revenue at the same time doing that.
Love the choice as a Disney fan. Families, I would never went skiing or snowboarding as a kid. I went to Florida and Disney every year because my other family's down here. They have their own zip code. It's truly incredible. Create their own electricity, you name it. Where would the meeting go down if you had the choice of location?
Oh, it'd be on a park bench, probably in Disneyland with Walt, just sitting there talking as people walk by. Just as you can see him in the picture and see him on the statue. Exactly that.
I love it, Cody. Thank you so much for reaching out to join this community of entrepreneurs. I had an incredible time getting you on the show. I think you gave so much back to our audience. So thank you so much. Where can everybody find you, your website, social media, anything, Cody?
Yeah, definitely. So if you want to learn more about me, codybramlett.com, you can check me out there. But our main website is supplementmillionaire.com. I know the company name's kind of silly, but it rung with me when I saw it was available online. And if you go to supplementmillionaire.com, I have a 35-minute presentation where I teach about affiliate marketing and direct marketing and how you can do that. So if you have a consumable product, supplements, skincare, anything that someone's going to be using on a regular basis, what I teach applies to that. Within that, you also can get a free checklist and a Gantt chart that kind of walks you through the entire build out of a funnel and all the things you need to do in order so that way you can succeed the best. And of course, there's tons of information on there that if you watch the video, you basically are going to get probably 60% of what you need to be able to start your own funnel. And if you can't start something from that video, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing, what you're thinking about. But it's there for you. And of course, we have the mastermind, we have coaching programs, and you can always email me and I actually will respond because I'm all about helping.
I love that. Everyone, be sure to scroll down in the episode description to grab those websites. Head there right now. And of course, I am at Vincent A. Lancy and at That Entrepreneur Show on all social media, YouTube, and my website is vincentalancy.com. Be sure to head to YouTube as there will be video clips from this episode on the channel when it is released. Be sure to check out Mental Health Week, my latest book for elementary school students to learn the go-tos about mental health in a fun story. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next Friday on That Entrepreneur Show. Cody, thanks for stopping by.